Some things work because they are powerful. Some other things work because we give them the belief that they are powerful.
Nice to meet you.
This being said, I am introducing the placebo effect to you. We're trying to improve on something. Somehow you're going to keep trying long enough until you are able to actually improve. Hello there, I'm excited to welcome you back on this show. If you're an old-time viewer, welcome back again. And if you're joining for the very first time, my name is Fem of the Placebo podcast with Fem. So I'd like to admit that for a few months now, I have been offline, and it is not like I did it intentionally. It's just that I've had a lot of other things that are equally as important as this one, or even more important, that I have to attend to. But then, worry no more. I'm back, and I'm here to serve you bigger and better. Our guest for today is a very intelligent, beautiful, smart. From close pals, we've heard that she's incredibly humble. Give it up for it's myself. So nice to meet you. Hi. Yep. Some things work because they are powerful. Some other things work because we give them the belief that they are powerful. Now, with this being said, I am introducing the placebo effect to you. What is the placebo effect? I know you would like to ask. So it's a very fascinating phenomenon in medicine, particularly, or that's where it originated from. So it is when you give a patient a white sugar pill, or just, I don't know how to explain, but like, let's assume I give you paracetamol for malaria, but somehow, because you believe that whatever I gave you was going to cure your malaria, somehow your mind forces your body to heal of malaria, when in actual sense I didn't give you a malaria medication. Is that not interesting? And you would like to ask, where have I seen this happen before? Why am I sounding like I really know what I'm talking about? Okay, well, because I do, and I'm excited to share with you my first-hand experience of this. So when I was in secondary school, in SS2 particularly, I fell ill 1 week like that, and I kept going to the sick bay. I was given medications, but I wasn't getting any better. Then it came the weekend, and if you attended a boarding school, you understand that you don't leave without an exit, and the exit is only signed by your senior boarding house master or senior boarding house mistress. But it was the weekend, so there was nobody to sign for me, and I had to find a way around it. But somehow I couldn't bear it any longer. I had to call my mom. I called my guardian, and because my guardian was the vice principal, academics, if I'm very correct, academics at the time, so he just, when I called him, he gave me permission to go home. I was so sick to the extent that I couldn't even walk to the gate. My friends had to walk me to the gate. From there, I found a way, and I got home. When I got home, except for times when I got up to ease myself, I could not do shit. I was just lying down. I was waiting for my mom, because my mom she was in transit at the time, so she was coming back home to meet me. When we went to the hospital on Monday, I went through, different scans, tests, diagnoses, and all of that. And somehow I was confirmed to have like a particular disease. And from there, life changed for me. I started, taking certain medications, doing as the doctor told me, all the do's and don'ts, do this, don't do that, all of that. I started to live as one with that disease, because of course I had the disease, yes, you get me. And I was getting better, or I was finding a way to manage it. But somehow, I don't know, one time my dad just decided that we should check another hospital, and we did. And the doctor and my mom, they were having a conversation with my mom, and she was trying to give him like my medical history, and she mentioned the disease that I was diagnosed of one time, and the doctor was like, that must be a lie, because if really I had the disease, I would not have walked here with my 2 legs. In fact, it's going to be like very obvious that I really do have the disease. Long and short is that I was actually misdiagnosed. I never had the disease, but it was so interesting because I could see all the symptoms. When you are sick and you start to browse, symptoms of this one, symptoms of that one. Every single thing that was mentioned, I was really going through it. So how is it that I no longer had the disease? It was so crazy, and I just realized that, oh, the placebo effect has actually worked on me. At the time, I didn't know that was what it was called, but growing up now, I think I understand it better. But now we're taking it out of medicine, we're bringing it to our everyday lives. This happens more than we think, and we don't even realize it. Let me walk you through this. So first things first, you need to understand that as human beings, we live by our beliefs. As a human being, you have to first believe before you act, or sometimes you have to even imagine before you attempt. Take, for example, I had to believe that I'll be able to sit down and record a podcast. That's the reason why I'm here. I was just optimistic enough. It's not because I just know that it's going to go well or whether it is not going to go well. I just believed, and so I just went ahead. Sometimes you have to also, let me give you another example with cooking. So there are many recipes that I have never eaten or have never tried. Maybe I've eaten them outside, but I have never tried them, or they have never even been cooked in my house. But somehow I just believe that if I'm able to put this and this together, or maybe because of videos I've watched online, I just believe that it's going to come out nice. And that's how it works, just like that. All you need to do is first believe. The placebo effect is very interesting because it has many names. People call it different things. In fact, you have experienced this firsthand. You just never know what it is called. So let me tell you, for CEOs believe that when they start a company, they believe that it's going to do this, it's going to do that. It was not because they had any guarantee that it was going to be a success. When it works, you call it vision. When it doesn't work, you say, oh, you were delusional enough. But I think it's just that delusion that takes you to where you want to get to. Another example I would like to give is students. I'm a student, so I understand this better. And if you're students, or whoever was once a student is going to get this too. So when you have intended, like you've put it in your mind that this exam I'm just going to pass it, this course I'm going to pass it, I'm not going to fail. Somehow you start to equip yourself with everything needed for you to pass the exam. In fact, you begin to force love, not to say force, I don't want to use the word force, but you generate a kind of passion within you that makes you love the course to the extent that you're optimistic enough that you're not going to fail, and you try to do everything to make sure that you pass the course. I'm sure you relate to this. And it's the same thing for when you also, in your head, you're like, this course, get a CB. When the results are out, I'm telling you, it's just gonna get a CB for you. Another example is for people who work out. You know, when you're at the gym and you're doing your sets and somehow you are exhausted, but because your mind has told you that, oh, you can do this very last one, magically you're able to just lift that weight and complete your set. Unlike when you've already you've given up and you've just put it in your mind that, oh, this is the highest I can do, this is the best for me. And that's how it just works. So it is not because this guarantees success, but somehow it influences your behavior towards achieving whatever it is that you want to achieve. That's how strong your belief can be. And that is optimism for you. So let me tell you about when belief becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy for you and to you. So let's say you're trying to improve on something. Somehow you're going to keep trying long enough until you are able to actually improve on that particular thing. It also works the same when you have put it in your heart that you're just going to fail. I'm telling you, there's no magic you're going to do. You're just going to fail because that is what you've like put in your mind, and that's just the results that you're going to get. Another one is when you believe that nobody respects you. So somehow when you get into spaces when they're trying to just maybe challenge your perspective, you just believe that they are outrightly disrespecting when that is not even the case. So you're unable to take things just calmly because somehow your psychology is already altered. There's nothing anybody can do. It's all in your head. You feel me? So one thing you need to know is that belief does not directly change your reality. It changes you, and after you are changed, you now change your reality. Now let's move to what the opposite of the placebo effect is. It is called the nocebo effect. So to help you differentiate this clearly, I would refer to the placebo effect as optimism and to the nocebo effect as pessimism. So let me explain who a pessimist is, or pessimism. Let me explain what it is. A pessimist is someone who, instead of seeing the positive in everything, rather sees the negative. So if we're saying, okay, let me use a very common one. You know, people will say Nigeria will be great again, and some of us just say there's no hope for this country. You just say it without any, there's no faith in you that anything is ever going to work out. Now that's pessimism, and it is not because you're trying to sound realistic. It is because you have given up and you don't even see any iota of positivity in anything. You're just ready for the worst all the time. But the thing I need to tell you is that as much as it can get worse, it can also get better. It can always get better. In fact, I think that it is a healthy mindset to always pray for the best, you always hope for the best. And it's fine if you also expect the worst. I mean, it's life and we can never tell what the outcome of anything would be. But I mean, it just saves you, or it puts you in a better place when you see the good side of things. That it even helps your mind, it helps your psychology, everything becomes less, I don't know, you just know your head will just be going to bad things all the time. At least once in a while, you self try to see the good in things. You feel me, yeah? So now let's talk about things that the nocebo effect affects in your life. First is your confidence. When you step into a place, low self-esteem will just want to wound you because somehow you don't even see the good in yourself. Maybe when you are called upon to do something, in your head you're thinking, there are better people in this room. Why was I called? You never just see that you are good enough. Let's talk about even in your relationships too. Your partner may want to be showering you with love, but you, Sarah, touch you because you don't even think that you're worthy to be loved. What should they help you and do? It's all in your head. Another thing is your mental resilience. So when you're going through a tough time, instead of admitting that, oh, every great person goes through a tough time and somehow you're going to come out strong, you're just very quick to give up. Very, very quick to give up. Small thing like this, you've packed this thing, you've hanged your boots. Do better for yourself. Now, after all of this is said and maybe done, we have to bring a balance to the two. We have to bring a balance to the two. You cannot be optimistic all the time and do nothing about it. You're just whining yourself because optimism is not magic. Strong belief in something is not magic. Somehow it is you that decides whether it works for you or not. How so, if you ask me? It is by doing all of the things that are going to make whatever you're thinking work. So you just don't sit down, fold your arms, you're just believing. It don't work like that. If you're a Christian, you know that the Bible says that faith without work is dead. So help God to help you. I know that we can't help God, but I mean, in this context, there are certain expressions of God that can't even be seen through you except if you give the access, and that's by believing and doing. You have to act. It's an action word. So believe is not just, it doesn't just happen here. You have to act towards it. You have to do all that you're supposed to do to make whatever it is work. Pessimism, on the other hand, I understand that people who are pessimistic are just trying to be realistic. Oh, this thing is bad. Like now, let's take Nigeria for example again. Things don't even look like they're going to get better. I understand that is what it looks like. In fact, that is what it is, but you're doing yourself a disservice believing that it never just gets better, at least not even for yourself. So you have to try to balance it. You have to believe and do the work and not just fold your arms and magically believe that things are just going to come through for you. That's just wishful thinking and you will die in your imagination. Sorry, did I just say that you would die in your imagination? No, you won't die. But sorry, I'm not sorry to say this. If you actually keep imagining and you do nothing about it, everything is still going to end in your imagination. Nothing is going to come to fruition for you. I'm not going to apologize for that one. So I think that where the conversation actually goes wrong is that there's no balance. As I've said earlier, some people underestimate belief. Some people worship it. I think that you have to come to the middle. So while you believe in your belief, you have to also not underestimate it. At least never at any point. Because if there's one thing, I feel like when you are trying to achieve a goal, The first thing is to believe in yourself. Believe in yourself. If you believe in a higher power, believe in the higher power first, then yourself, and even your goal. But if you don't believe in any higher power, shall believe in yourself. You are all you got, really. So the essence of this conversation is not even for me to, it's not a question of whether the whole placebo effect thing exists or not. We all know it does. You just may have a different name for it. For Christians, you can call it faith. For free thinkers, you can just call it the placebo effect. For scientists, you can call it quantum physics. But you just have to believe that. You don't have to believe it. It does exist. That's the thing about it. And what's another thing I need to add? And that thing I need to add is that beliefs often determine how we meet reality. So today I will just be leaving you with a few questions. What beliefs are currently shaping you? Which one is helping you right now? Which one is holding you hostage? Because whether we realize it or not, as human beings, we're living in a story. And the stories we believe have a strange way of becoming the lives that we live. I hope that you take this from everything I have said from the beginning of this to the end of it. Thank you for joining in. Thank you for listening. I hope to see you on the next episode. Thank you. Hello there. This is the Who Said What podcast with Fem. Here we learn, unlearn, challenge certain ideologies, and learn things from a cleaner and clearer perspective. This is about to be your new best show.